I was playing music on a DG, which is like that one over there, and then I needed a CF, and then I needed a B flat, and eventually I had so many melodeons I ended up with a shop, and then I couldn't get enough from a shop, so I had to start making them. This is what this is all about, you see.
So is that one row?
Yes, this is one row melodeon. You see it, and it's got 4 banks of reeds, and it's got 4 knobs on the top which switch each reed on, and then 10 buttons here and 2 buttons there. So to make one of these, we have to make boxes for the end, and another box for this end, and then we cut that box in half, so that'll be down there. Whoops. And then we put this bit inside, and it doesn't quite fit yet, and so we end up with that, and then we put the reeds, which are these things, on there, and then this bit is the keyboard, just like that, goes on there, like that, you see. And then we get some levers like this. We'll go outside and use these and put work on the blacksmith anvil on these, which is very exciting. And these bits go in there, and all numbered, you see, so they have to go in the right hole. That's number 9, I think.
So is it so fine that one has to go in one particular hole?
Yes, because my machinery is not as accurate as it could be. So each one of these slots is a very slightly different width. These are pretty much the same width, so you have to fit them in where they fit. And then you get this bit on the top, so that bit's in there, and then we stick a button on it, and it goes like that.
I'm amazed by the absolute precision of it. I mean, the reed block over there is
yeah, it's a work of art. That.
It's amazing.
Getting it all to fit. Each compartment is specifically sized to each particular reed, so there's a lot of accurate measuring being done, and also the depth here on the highest reeds is reduced to reduce the airflow. You can see inside this is the what we call the growl box, which is the bit that operates the bass end.
Did you say growl?
Growl box.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it goes rah rah rah. It's the low bass notes, and in there we've got some sort of safety pin efforts going on. The springs, I'll make those springs in house. Also the springs for the treble end are made here. So that's how that works. Finger on there, and the air button on the back, which is a bit like the clutch on a car. So that's most of the components for it. Oh yeah, we've got some more bits here. These bits go on the top. Like that, some metal ones there.
They're the stops, yeah.
Locally made in Meyer. Yeah, I think that's about most of the bits that go into it. There's always some other bits, and these boxes, as I say, have got to be cut in half yet, and then they're screwed back together. Otherwise, if you glued them on the bellows like that, you couldn't get inside. It would be a sealed chamber, which is not very handy. Maybe I'll show you a bit about tuning the reeds, because that's a whole other discipline. These individual reed tongues here, it'll like that. Each one of those has to be tuned to the note. So basically you take metal off the tip to raise the pitch, and off the back of the reed to lower the pitch. That's about it, I think.
Make it sound simple.
Yeah, well, it takes me all day to make one, you know. Yeah.
That's a beautiful growl box you got there. What's the wood made out of?
Oh right. Well, the main body of it is cherry. This is all cherry with some inlay. But there's a nice bit of yew on the end there.
Beautiful.
Another one here. There's some more yew. Very pretty.
I'm impressed with the precision and the fine detail on the boxes. It's quite impressive.
It's a whole combination of skills. I was educated as an engineer, so and this is engineering in wood. This is the first one I made 10 years ago, and up to that point I knew nothing about wood. So apparently it grows on trees. But now I'm just fascinated by it. There's another piece of yew, beautiful.
But isn't that inside the box? Surely that won't be seen.
It may not be seen by the average person, but you have to impress your other people in the trade. So in 20 years' time, when this box needs tuning, someone will open it up and say, "Oh, there's a lovely bit of wood hidden away." Yeah.
So this is your range of melodeons.
This is Home on the Range. Yes. I should explain the differences and the similarities, I suppose. This is the Corvette, which is a full-size one-row melodeon, the same style as built in Louisiana by the Cajuns, so a full-size Cajun accordion. And that's the Corvette. And these two over here are the Clippers, which are basically this melodeon just shrunken a bit. Everything else is the same apart from the size. Internal construction is all the same. This one in the middle is the Windjammer, which is a different construction. This is based on the old Hohner 114 model. So it's got bellows pins and 4 upright reed blocks. These have got 2 flat reed blocks and 2 upright. That's the main differences. The similarities are the keyboards are all the same, and the growl box on the left, they're all the same. So same throughout the range. The wood is different. This is black. This is the new wood. Black is the new wood. Actually, it's white maple underneath, stained black. So it's beginning to develop a patina fairly quickly because the black dye rubs off and leaving the white showing through. It's very attractive. This is walnut with a bit of yew there on the bellows frame and some zebrano wood on the palette. This is the first one I ever made, and it's made of Afromosia wood, which is a difficult wood to work with, and it's splitting all over the place. So that was a good education. Some fancy palettes there. This is walnut again with green decoration and yew palettes. Keys, this one's in B flat with Binchy reeds, this one's in C with Hohner reeds, this one's in D with Voci harmonica reeds, and this one's in G with Czech harmonicas Dix reeds. That's about it. So B flat, C, D, G. This one's got the highest note of it, higher than any piano accordion in the world.
Gosh, that's clear for such a high note.
It is. That's the benefit of using Dix reeds. I don't think any of the other manufacturers could achieve that. This was quite low, this one. So we go from very low on the B flat to...
So can you choose which make of reeds you have in which carcass?
No, you can only choose what I have in stock. Because it takes ages to get reeds particularly from the Italian makers, because it's so, the Italian accordion industry is slowly getting smaller.
What you mean, the makers are amalgamating?
Smaller, and the demand is huge. So Binchy reeds, they take a long time to come. So the Voci harmonica. The Czech ones are pretty good at the moment, although demand is getting higher. And Hohner reeds, well, they're made in China these days, so you can get old Hohner reeds. So yeah, you can have a choice of reeds, but usually I only have big stocks of Binchy, which are in this one.
And why are some a little bit smaller? Is that just because it's more comfortable, or?
Yeah, it's just a lot easier to. It's less weight, and customers tend to prefer. This is the best-selling model. This compact clipper. Personally, I would say you're better off with a bigger one because there's more air control because you've got a bigger bellows. Unless you're a really good player, you can tend to run out of air on these. But don't put that in your film. In your film.
So, what's the connection between the Cajun thing? Because we're in Wales here. It's an exotic connection.
Yeah. Well, there's a massive connection. It's me. I'm the only living connection. No, I mean, they play one row melodeon, so I'm fascinated by any tradition that utilises the one row melodeon, like the tarantella tradition in southern Italy, and west coast of Ireland, East Anglia, and Louisiana, the Cajuns. So it's just another tradition that uses the one row melodeon. Now, these days, this tends to be called a Cajun accordion. We don't call them melodeons in the States, but it's not really a Cajun accordion. It's German. When they went from Germany to Texas and Louisiana, particularly in Texas, a big German population, and the Tex-Mex music is based around the German polka. The Cajuns more French influenced, but they went for this single row. The original instruments that were played by Cajuns were Germans, and all they did was the same as me. They copied the German ones. I've copied the Cajun ones, so it's not really a Cajun thing. It's the instrument as it travels around the world. So it's gone from Germany to Louisiana back to Wales.
How would you distinguish that from the two row? Because some people would say a melodeon's a melodeon.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a tricky one. The two rows got more buttons. Yeah, a little explanation. The single row has a single row buttons, and it's in a key like a mouth organ. This one's in B flat, that one's in C, etc. This one's got two rows, so it's in two keys, D and G, and you get them in C and F, whatever. And this one's only got two bass buttons. This one's got 8. So you can immediately see there's more flexibility in this one. It's not so limited. People say melodeons are limited. I'm not too sure about that. But this is very limited in that it's only got those buttons, and you've only got that note in one direction. Whereas this, and then you can have the same note in two directions. So that makes it a lot easier for playing. So you can build up chords in the right hand. It's not so easy to do.
So why are you interested in the one row if it's more limited?
Because it's more funky. It really is a better dance instrument. Because you have to find the notes by pushing the bellows, then it immediately makes the whole thing more bouncy. You can get the same effect on a two row, but this has got more voices, so it's a fatter sound, and you have to do this thing. So it's just more bouncy. I think it's a much more dancey instrument.
So I've seen you play in various keys. Although it's a one row and it's ostensibly in one key, you seem to get a lot out of it. So can you just say a little bit about that?
Sure. Same as blues harp players hardly ever play in home key of the instrument. So we've got a C mouth organ. They would very often be playing in G. Because you've got a full scale of G on a C accordion, apart from the 7th note. there's no F sharp, you've got an F natural, which makes it bluesy. Got that blues interval there. So that's the key of G on C books, and then another one is the key of F. So that's 3 keys. Then you've got D minor. Then you get E minor. And then you've got B minor. So that's 6 keys on a one row, and there's probably more. Oh yeah, actually there is another one, and some idiots actually managed to play a tune in D on it. So that's 7. So yeah, to me it's got no limitations. I'm still discovering more and more about the instrument.
That's
the younger I
marvellous.
get.
Well, thank you, Rees. That's been enlightening.
Very good. Time for the pub.
Yay!